What is going on, everybody? It's the Franz, and we're here for the Smackdown live review for last night's episode from April 30th, 2019. With Smackdown's Money in the Bank ladder match participants announced, Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens being confirmed, the Smackdown Live tag team titles being relinquished by the Hardy Boys due to Jeff Hardy's injury, and Roman Reigns being pushed down their throats again, and him going up against the Authority, being booked in a tag team, in a handicap match against the B Team, and WWE playing rinse and repeat when it comes to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match participants by having another makeshift tag team match with the 4 participants from SmackDown, just like they did on Monday Night Raw the night before. This show, oh boy, this show's just gotten worse and worse as we go. SmackDown's supposed to be our safe haven from Raw. You have that terrible, terrible Monday Night Raw every single week, and then SmackDown is supposed to be the show that everyone can go and gravitate to and be like, well, SmackDown's doing pretty good. Well, not recently. Roman Reigns going to SmackDown Live is going to kill SmackDown. I mean, go look at Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw had the worst third hour outside of a holiday probably ever, and we'll talk about it this Saturday. But the drop of ratings from Monday Night Raw has just been absolutely abysmal. And it's just going to continue to drop. So, there's that. SmackDown tonight, of course, had Becky versus Bayley for the first time ever on the main roster. And, of course, we had Kevin Owens and Kofi Kingston hyping up their match for Money in the Bank. This show, though, we had Kairi Sane and Asuka, a new tag team, a new babyface tag team taking on a bunch of jobbers. This is the same team that was in an 8-woman tag match a couple weeks ago, and they went up against the Idiotics as well as the team of Fire and Desire with Bayley and Ember Moon on their team. Then you had Kairi Sane last week go up against one of the members of the Idiotics and beat them in 1 minute flat, but now you have them going up against a bunch of jobbers. Are you serious? This is the problem with the tag team division for the women. They don't have any. This is why the tag team, I never wanted women's tag team titles. Not because the women didn't deserve them, not that fact that the women should have had tag team titles long ago. It's the fact that they're in a brand split, the tag team titles make no sense. If this would have been 4 years ago when it was still just one big group of superstars, you had the women and the men, that was it. Yes, tag team wrestling for the women would have been fine. But you don't have enough women on the main roster or any roster to make legitimate tag teams. You have Fire and Desire, you have the Idiotics, you had the Boston Hug Connection, but you threw them away. And now you have Kairi Sane and Asuka in a tag team that I don't think is going to last very long. We'll get to that later a little bit more, but we started the show off with Michael Cole in the middle of the ring for whatever reason. Michael Cole is a Monday Night Raw commentator. Why is he doing in-ring interviews on SmackDown Live? I don't understand why they have to bring him out. He introduces the WWE Champion, who comes out with pancakes from the crowd. No Xavier Woods, no Big E. Of course, Big E is still out with the torn meniscus. He's not going to be doing anything for a while. But Xavier Woods, of course, also supposedly selling his back injury from last week from being powerbombed on the apron by Kevin Owens. Cole says he's happy to be here to celebrate Kofi's 11-year career. He talks about Kofi's journey to WrestleMania 35. It is April 30th. WrestleMania was the first Sunday in April. Let it go. Enough celebrating this guy's accomplishments as WWE champion. It's time to move on to the championship, the challenger, which is Kevin Owens. I am sick to death of this title reign already because all we do is want to harp on what he did at WrestleMania. Yes, big moment, big deal. Move on. Moments are done. It's time to move on to more pressing matters, and that is Money in the Bank. Stop holding on to the WrestleMania moments, and get on to Money in the Bank. Come on already. Cole talks about the odds against Kofi on his journey, and they show the replays of the Elimination Chamber, the SmackDown Gauntlet match that saw Kofi earn the title shot, only for it to be taken away. Cole asked Kofi, which they did not show the tag team gauntlet match that the New Day had to go through to get Kofi into WrestleMania. They kind of just wiped that one from existence. Is that going to play into anything later down the line? Cole asked Kofi if he ever thought he would have his title shot at WrestleMania at the events like those. Kofi talks about learning of highs and lows during his career and how important it is to keep fighting. Kofi says he's proud he won the WWE title while standing next to Big E and Xavier Woods, because none of this would happen without Big E, Xavier, or the New Day at all. Without the New Day, none of this happens. Also, without Mustafa Ali getting injured, which he didn't mention either, which Tom Phillips did mention during the first highlight package of the Elimination Chamber, that due to Mustafa Ali's injury, Kofi was even in the Elimination Chamber, but Kofi himself never mentioned it. Cole talks about says he's been here for like Kofi's entire career, and says how it was magical when he won at WrestleMania. Cole then says that maybe he may have been the greatest WrestleMania moment ever. I would pull back on that. I wouldn't say that really. I mean, for a certain demographic, yes, that would probably be the greatest WrestleMania moment ever, but the greatest WrestleMania moment ever, I would pull back. Maybe in the top 10, but not the greatest WrestleMania moment ever. Maybe even top 5. But not greatest WrestleMania moment ever. They do show the replay of that. Fans chant, "You deserve it." Can we get past all this? Cole agrees with them. Kofi says it was amazing that happened almost a month ago, and the emotions are still here. It's still surreal. He says next to marrying his wife and the birth of his kids, winning the title at WrestleMania was the greatest moment of his life. Which anytime you win a world championship, it would be one of the greatest moments. It should be one of the greatest moments of your life. Whether you're in sports, whether you're professional wrestling, whatever it is, if it's booked right, especially in professional wrestling, and you get to the championship done right, it should be one of the greatest moments in your life. And Kofi, the way they built it up, was probably the greatest moment in his life outside of his wife and kids. Kofi says people believe he should have seen this coming when it came to Kevin Owens attacking him last week. He puts a lot of blame on himself. Kofi says the New Day believes in second chances and people changing if they want to change. They believe Owens genuinely wanted to change. Kofi says if Owens wanted to challenge him for the title, all he had to do was ask. Typical baby face saying. If you wanted a title shot, all you had to do was ask. Typical baby face saying. Owen goes on and challenges Owens to a match at Money in the Bank with the title on the line. Kofi says he's not afraid of Owens and is not worried about losing the title. Out comes Kevin Owens, who says, challenge accepted. He says how Kofi isn't a Kofi says, you made a great moment at WrestleMania. A great moment. It was awesome and everything. But a lot of fans, and myself included, and others have too in the community, say that you aren't championship material and you know it. Which, quite honestly, Kofi Kingston in the New Day version of himself, to me, is not a WWE champion. It was a moment, it was a great moment, but Kofi Kingston, if he goes in the Money in the Bank and actually loses to Kevin Owens, I would not be shocked, I would not be surprised, and I would not be angry either, because quite honestly, Kofi Kingston as a WWE champion, which at the end of the night, he looked more a WWE champion than he had since he won the championship, because he actually got serious and he was more like focused and was not goofing around, none of the throwing the pancakes and shit. I don't want my WWE champion coming out throwing pancakes and acting like a fucking buffoon as Kofi Kingston does. I'm sorry. Kofi Kingston needs to drop the pancake shtick completely. You can wear whatever the fuck you want, but you come out there, stop throwing pancakes and stop acting like a fucking buffoon. You are the WWE champion, and it's almost been an entire fucking month, and you haven't done nothing except get your ass kicked by Kevin Owens last week. Enough of it. Get rid of the pancakes, stop acting like a goofball, be serious. You have the most coveted prize in all of professional wrestling. Time to start acting like you have that championship around your waist instead of just acting like your normal self. You are the WWE champion, act like it. Xavier Woods attacks from behind on the stage. Owens fights back and drops Woods with a super kick. Kofi runs up the ramp to make the save, but Owens gets runs away. Kofi checks on Woods and calls for help as Woods sells the kick. Kofi helps Woods up to the back. We will see Roman Reigns later as a recent, and this pissed me off when I saw this. The Superman punch felt around the world. Bullshit. The Superman punch that everyone sat there and was like, oh, we're doing this again. I want to know how many people, when Superman punched Vince McMahon, just put your head down and put your head down in your hand and just was like, put your head down in shame. It was just so cringe-worthy. The Smackdown titles, Jeffy's in a crutch backstage. We will see an announcement from them later in the night. Bayley versus Becky Lynch. Bayley comes out from Greg Hamilton, does the introduction. We see in the back that Kofi Kingston is like saying Woods' back is messed up, but Woods says he had to come out because he didn't want Kevin Owens to talk about Kofi like that. Kofi has a plan. He reminds Woods to stick to the plan, and they have families to worry about. We go to the ring, and Bayley is confirmed for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. The first blue brand superstar. Greg Hamilton, for whatever fucking reason, got on the mic and was like, in her opponent, she is the woman who went to WrestleMania, and it was like, why is he giving Becky Lynch this grand introduction? Are we just gonna do this? He gives her a grand introduction as the woman who made history in WrestleMania's 35 main event. Are you fucking kidding me? Becky Lynch has been the Raw and SmackDown women's champions coming out of WrestleMania. This is not her first match since then. Why is she getting this grand introduction? Baron Corbin, it already is cringe-inducing that we have to listen to Baron Corbin get an introduction like this. Why is Becky Lynch now getting this type of introduction? As with the Bayley and Charlotte Flair match last week, Bayley and Becky, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago, whichever it was, this was a pretty good match between these two. It is two of the Four Horsewomen of WWE. They are the flag bearers of the women's evolution. Becky Lynch ends up winning it. Bayley comes right back, but Lynch drops her with a forearm. They run the ropes and both go down while colliding with clotheslines. The referee counts to 8 while both are down. Bayley with the roll-up out of nowhere for a 2 count. Bayley sends Becky into the corner and nails a big suplex for a pop. Bayley goes to the top to deliver the flying elbow, but Becky gets the knees up. Becky applies to disarm her for the submission win. After the match, Charlotte Flair hits the ring and drops Becky with a cheap shot. Then Flair launches Bayley into the ring post next. Bayley falls out of the ring. Becky and Bayley are both laid down on the floor as Flair stands tall in the middle of the ring. We go to replays. Flair makes her exit as the music starts up, smiling and mocking the others. Becky slowly recovers on the floor as Flair marches up the ramp. So, WWE doing everything they can to make Becky Lynch look vulnerable. She has to look vulnerable coming out of WrestleMania. Can't make her look strong anymore. You had her look strong going into WrestleMania. You had her look strong up until then, and now she's just getting her ass beat left and right. Lacey Evans is making her look like a bitch, and now Charlotte Flair makes her look like a total bitch. We go backstage to a pre-recorded promo from Aleister Black. I don't know where they're going with this for Aleister Black, but I am intrigued. Black talks about how fear is a powerful and paralyzing tool, and how it's in the man's nature to fear what we don't understand. Black says his opponents try to figure him out, and by the time they think they have him figured out, the referee has already counted 1, 2, 3 in his favor. Any hope of conquering that fear has simply left the earth. Black says his opponent takes one look in his eyes and they don't like the abyss staring back at them because it unveils a truth about themselves. A truth that allows them to fade to black. Again, I don't know where this is going, but kind of me intrigued. I am a little disappointed that he is not going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match, but I think that would have been great. But who we got, I say, is not as bad. Go to the ring, and out come the tag team champions, the Hardy Boys. Jeff is using the crutch to get around. They head to the ring, and we go to commercial backroom break, and the Hardys in the ring, Kayla Braxton. They show us a video package replay of Sullivan destroying them a few weeks ago on SmackDown. Jeff says he's unable to walk on his own because of Lars. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. That's only an excuse. He actually got injured on a house show, I believe, a week ago. I think, or this past weekend or something. Jeff Hardy got injured at a house show and they're only using the Lars Sullivan attack as an excuse to write him off, so they give you a reason why he's injured. He needs surgery and he will be out for a long time. Matt says it breaks his heart to have to say this, clears his throat, fans chant no, and says, as of right now, the Hardys must give up the Smackdown tag team titles as the fans boo. Jeff says this is not the end of the journey, as Matt gives the referee outside the ring, the tag team titles, and it kills him that he caused them to not be able to defend the titles. Jeff says when it comes back stronger, they will. And then out comes Lars Sullivan. Lars goes for Matt first, and then Jeff, as Matt attacks from behind. Lars overpowers and drives Matt into the mat with a freak accident. Jeff hovels around the ring, still raising the crutch on Lars. Lars corners Jeff. R-Truth suddenly attacks Lars from behind with a steel chair, but it does nothing. Lars punches through the chair and drives Truth to the mat with a huge freak accident. Lars with a big sit-out powerbomb the Truth. Now his fans boo. Lars stands tall over Truth and looks down as his music hits. Lars exits the ring, heads up to the rack, and we go to replay. Can we please get Lars Sullivan in a match? This is, what, 4 weeks in a row? Is he become the new Lacey Evans, where instead of not doing anything, he's just going to sit there and attack people left and right? I want to see the big man in the ring. I am kind of disappointed that Lars Sullivan himself is not in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I think him instead of Randy Orton would have been great. If anybody remembers last year at the NXT TakeOver New Orleans event, the six-man ladder match for the North American Championship, the first ever, Lars Sullivan was in that match, and he made that match that much better. It was great, but Lars Sullivan did hold his own, and he looked awesome coming out of it. I just wish they would actually let Lars Sullivan in that match. What are they going to do with Lars Sullivan? I have absolutely no idea. They need to figure something out, because it is kind of getting... This is just the same thing over and over. He just continues to attack people. Once is fine. Twice is okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times is too much. Give me a damn break. Let me see what Lars Sullivan can do in the wrestling ring. Let the people who do not watch NXT see what this guy can do in an actual match. We go to break, and we see that Mustafa Ali, Randy Orton, Andrade, and Finn Balor are announced for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which, unlike last Monday, like on Monday when they had Alexa Bliss do it, they had Byron Saxton do this as if it wasn't that big of a deal. Asuka and Kairi Sane versus 2 enhancement talents. This is just fucking sad. Sane is mocked by one of the opponents early on, but she goes to work. Asuka comes in for a double teaming. The match ends up falling apart as all 4 competitors get involved. Asuka and Sane deliver some double teaming as Paige cheers them on. Asuka drops one opponent with an inverted DDT. Sane tags in and goes up top, hits the insane elbow, and that was that. The Idiotics were on commentary at the time, and as I say before, when the Idiotics are on TV, I'm thankful for the mute button. I just don't. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville in the ring. Rose says just one of them will be allowed in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. They both decide on Rose, and they seem to be on the same page. Yada yada yada. Still to come. Roman is here. Whoop-de-doo. When Roman comes out for this, it says on his little card, because unlike Raw where they had the title card, they have a little thing off to the side with their picture and some like highlights of the career. When Roman comes out, there's no highlights of his career. It says, after leaving from leukemia, Roman miraculously returned and said his leukemia was in remission last February. Hey, dumbasses, last February would be February of last year, you dumb fucks. This past February, or 2 months ago, or 3 months ago, whatever it was. This is just WWE continuously ramming the fucking leukemia down your throat, and it's deplorable and annoying. I just want to hear the boos again. Which, yes, you could hear boos. I could hear boos. WWE wants to mask the boos as much as they can. They were heard. It wasn't down at the ringside area. Up in the cheap seats. The boos were coming. You could hear it. Reigns says he takes the mic and says you only get one shot at making a first impression. So he figured he would do that on his first night here on Smackdown. So he did just that by knocking out Mr. McMahon. Oh, Roman. You act like you're going to a new job. You work for the WWE. Now, if you left WWE and went to AEW like Dean Ambrose is doing, and he's going to be Jon Moxley now, in that video promo he put up on his own Twitter account last night or this morning, whichever, that's making a first impression. This is not making a first impression. This is just, well, we ain't got nothing for Roman Reigns, so we're going to have him attack Vince McMahon again. He just wanted to get the point across that he is still the big dog and that SmackDown is his yard now. Out comes Shane McMahon. Shane comes out and says he will get to Roman in a minute, but first he said Hamilton giving him a best in the world introduction, which he does. Shane is here and reminding Reigns that the McMahon family owns the land. Reigns says, no, your daddy owns the land, and when he's in the ring with Reigns, he's on his back while Reigns was on his 2 feet. Shane mocks Reigns for striking a national treasure. Give me a break. Vince McMahon a national treasure. Ha ha ha, no. Reigns challenged Shane to come to do it without the help of Elias after he knocked him out last week. Shane brushes him off and gets the local heat for staying, and they were at Ohio State University. He attempted to say Jim Harbaugh, but he said something else. Because, of course, it was the team up north is who he's talking about. I am from Ohio, so I will say the team up north. He was talking about going to the team up north and going to Jim Harbaugh, but he said Harbaugh. I'm like, you can't even say the shit right, can you, Shane? So he got the cheap heat, sort of, but he kind of fucked it up anyway. He introduces Reigns' opponents for the night, and out come the B team, Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. Shane also introduces special guest ring enforcer Elias. I just want the boos to come back because this is just a failure. So you had Roman Reigns in a 2-on-1 handicap match against the B team. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, and on top of that, Elias is out at the ringside. Not a special guest referee, Elias. No, special guest referee enforcer on the outside. Are you fucking kidding me? This is fucking stupid. Who'd you think won this one? This match went way too long. Reigns ends up winning it. Elias hits Reigns and sends him in the barrier. Elias with some more offense before tossing Reigns back into Axel. Axel with a perfect plex for a toast 2. Elias enters the ring to assist Axel. Axel holds Reigns while Elias brings in his guitar. Reigns gets free and hits Elias with a Superman punch. Reigns hits a spear on Axel for the win. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Oh, this is just so cringe-inducing. Xavier Woods is supposed to be on the KO show, and of course Finn Balor and Ali versus Randy Orton on Andrade. And we see the Firefly Funhouse segment again, which I want WWE, I know they want to show it as much as they can. I want them to show the Firefly Funhouse on Raw or SmackDown. It does not need to be on both shows. Because that just tells you, oh, Bray Wyatt's on both shows. No. He needs to be on Raw or SmackDown, not both. Give me an idea of where he's going to be. The Firefly Funhouse, okay, awesome. But I only really want to see it once a week. So, there's that. Andrade and Mustafa Ali and Finn Balor versus Andrade Cien Almas and Randy Orton. Definitely a great match here. These 4 guys work well together. Vega distracts Balor as he tries to go up top, allowing Andrade Cien Almas to take control. Andrade Cien Almas with a running double knees in the corner for a close 2 count on Balor. Balor blocks the hammerlock DDT. Mustafa Ali tags in and Balor hits a sling blade on Almas. Ali goes up top and hits a 450 on Andrade Cien Almas for the pin. I think that after he hit Daniel Bryan with his knee to the face back in December, late December, the 054, the reverse 450, has been outlawed, and he's been using a normal 450 since. Which, more power to him. If they want to get rid of something that to them seemed dangerous, that's fine. After the match, Orton enters the ring and immediately drops Balor with an RKO out of nowhere. Mustafa Ali comes right back and kicks Orton out of the ring. Orton recovers on the floor as Vega checks on Almas. Ali hits the corner and poses as his music hits, and that was that. Sarah Shriver is backstage with the final 2 women's Money in the Bank Ladder Match participants. She introduces Ember Moon. I'm like, yes, that's a good one. Ember Moon has some success, but she has yet to make a name for herself, but that changes as she will have the opportunity at Money in the Bank. Moon goes on about Miss Money in the Bank. Out comes Carmella, who has words for him. Carmella says she has won the first and technically the second Money in the Bank ladder match. She was the match changes lives, and she's not afraid of what it takes to win. She goes on about making her last cash-in account and says she will prove that everyone once again while Mella is money. So you have Mandy Rose, Bayley, Ember Moon, and Carmella. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match is definitely the weaker of the two Money in the Bank ladder matches this year, for sure. Raw, really, other than maybe Naomi, has no heavy hitters, and the fact that you only have like Ember Moon, Bayley. Oh yeah, you have Ember Moon, Bayley, and maybe Naomi, who should even be in running for a win. Nobody else. I don't care what everyone thinks about Alexa Bliss. No, the only people who should be in the running for the Money in the Bank night this year is Bayley, Ember Moon, and possibly Naomi. Everyone else is just there to fill the match. Watch Dana Brooke be the fucking winner. Watch Dana Brooke be the Money in the Bank ladder match winner. We go to the ring, and out comes the final segment. It's Kevin Owens. His guest will be Xavier Woods, who was taken out earlier by Owens for a commercial break. Owens welcomes us to a revamped version of the Kevin Owens show. No more table, no more signage, just a chair, one of those chairs, those comfy chairs that I wish I had one right now, but I don't. The graphics in the desk are all gone because the pageantry is something the New Day would do. Owens has just 2 chairs and an apron cover for the show now. Owens says he doesn't care about any of it because it is his show. He is the show, and this is all he needs. Owens says he was interrupted by Woods earlier, something Woods probably regrets. As he was trying to make a point, Owens goes on about how WWE Champion Kofi Kingston is drowning over his head. Owens says help is on the way for Kofi, and he is to help. He will take the burden off of Kofi that he's been carrying since WrestleMania 35. He's positive that at Money in the Bank, he will take the WWE title from Kofi Kingston as fans boo. Owens says he wants to hear about Woods. He wants to hear about Woods. He tells Woods to come be his guest and chat if he's so up for it. Earlier, Owens says the spotlight is finally on Woods, and he wants to hear what's on Woods' heart. Woods isn't showing up. Owens figured this would happen, so he came up with a plan B. And Owens pulls out a miniature Xavier Woods action figure, calling it one of the many pieces of crap merchandise they have been shilling for years now. Owens mocks and taunts the action figure about after putting it in the other chair. Owens pulls out a Big E action figure, saying it was the other part of the 2-pack with Woods. Owens jokes about how Big E was being back from his injury. Owens says the real Big E and Woods aren't here, and these figures are pieces of trash. But he knows this is really what is really on their hearts and minds. And out comes Kofi Kingston to no music, no pancakes, no championship, just Kofi Kingston, serious face and all. And he just rushes to the ring and starts brawling with Owens. This is the one part where I'm like, Kofi Kingston finally looks like he could be WWE champion. He looks more WWE championship material in this moment than he has since WrestleMania. Kofi mounts Owens and works him over. They go to the floor, and Kofi leaps off the steel steps, decking Owens. Kofi with more punches while Owens is down. Kofi launches Owens over the announce table as fans cheer on him. Kofi throws an announce chair at Owens and keeps the assault going on. Owens comes back with a rake to the eyes to turn it around. Owens retreats to the crowd. Kofi returns to the ring and poses in the corner, telling Owens to bring it back for a fight. Kofi's music starts up. Smackdown goes off the air with Owens looking on from the crowd while Kofi talks trash from the corner. Where has this Kofi Kingston been since WrestleMania? Where has this Kofi Kingston been the entire time? This was by far the best Kofi has looked as WWE Champion since he won the title. This was fucking fantastic the way this show ended. He came out, no music, no championship. It was just Kofi Kingston ready to kick some ass, take some names, and it was fucking perfect. That's the Kofi I want to see. I don't want to see Kofi coming out with his vest on and his pancake tray, tossing pancakes. Enough of that. This is, and Xavier Woods, well, Big E's going to be out for a while. Xavier Woods needs to be written off for now, and it needs to be Kofi and and Kevin Owens going into Money in the Bank one-on-one, nobody else. The closing segment helped this feud better than the opening segment did. I don't want to hear any more about, oh, congratulations on your match at WrestleMania. Congratulations on winning the WWE Championship. That was 3.5 weeks ago. Let it go. Let's move on to Money in the Bank, which is coming up in less than 3 weeks. The way SmackDown ended was better than the way it started. I will go with the way that was. Now, let's see what happens next week. Maybe they'll do some kind of contract signing. I have no idea. But that was a great way to end SmackDown Live. Roman Reigns I can't stand it. Him feuding with the Authority is fine because it keeps him out of the WWE Championship picture where he does not deserve to be. He's not in Money in the Bank. And it looks like we're going to be building towards probably a Shane. Like Shane's facing Miz at Money in the Bank. And when that's done and over with, he's probably going to go and focus his attention on Roman Reigns. We'll have to wait and see. But that is your SmackDown Live review for April 30th, 2019. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at The France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFrance08. And I will see you guys tomorrow for NXT, which we will have Kushida's debut, if I'm correct. So then, my name is The Franz, and I'll see you guys later.